I was looking back at what Arsenal have done in the transfer window, and I thought, there are two ways to look at it. That's a debate. Of course, forget what they did against Everton, even though Mkhitaryan was brilliant and Aubameyang scored, but look at the bigger picture. And as I said, there are two ways to look at it. On one hand, you could just be absolutely ecstatic that Arsenal managed to get Aubameyang, who was the best goal scorer of the Bundesliga last season, Mkhitaryan, who cost £40 million only 18 months ago, and of course he was very good last season, especially in Europe. They got rid of Alexis and keeping Aubameyang with less than half the wages that Alexis was asking for, but perhaps the same amount of goals. We will see. And of course, renewing Ozil. So you'd say, yes, that looks brilliant. I'll give you more elements for those that want to defend that point of view. Number one, Ozil is not earning £300,000 a week because the cap of Arsenal is £200,000 a week. That's the cap that they have, and they will not change. And that's a little bit the limit that they have when they want to buy some of these players. Of course, because they paid him a sign-on fee, that is money that will go to him that will make him happier. But in terms of wages, it's 200,000 tops. That's number one. Number two, the owner is not putting money in Arsenal, so they have to kind of work with their resources. Well, the other owners in other clubs seem to be putting money towards the improvement of the squad. In the case of Arsenal, that's what they have. That's what they got to deal with. Whatever they do, they have to they have to use by selling players, for instance. So from that point of view, that's where my vote will go. I think Arsenal were very good in the transfer window. In fact, they were short of money, and they tried to get two defenders. At least one of them was with the target, but they went for one, they couldn't pay. They went for another one, it was too late, so they couldn't get him at the end. They want a defender, and of course this is part of what the transformation that Arsenal are going through, at least in the squad department. But there is another way of looking at what Arsenal have done. Number one, they got Mkhitaryan, somebody that Jose Mourinho didn't want, and what would be the point of having a player that is not wanted at a club that's challenging for the same positions and the same titles? Number two, if Ozil was thinking about it for so long, well, why was he thinking about it for so long? And has he accepted to stay because of the sign-on fee and the wages that come with it? And is that the right reason to stay? And in the case of Aubameyang, he tried to leave Borussia Dortmund in the summer, and nobody put either the money or were interested enough in getting him. One of them was Arsenal, who thought about it and decided not to go that way and go for Lacazette instead. So that would suggest that perhaps, if you forget, as I said, the demolition of Everton, perhaps Arsenal haven't done as well as it's been suggested. My vote is that they did well, and they are using their resources cleverly as well. It looks like a team that right now is sixth and really with perhaps the lowest point tally at this point of the season under Wenger ever, I believe. Well, that suggests that they needed the kind of reinforcement, and it has changed the atmosphere a little bit, I feel, around the fans. So from that point of view, that's another positive. But if you look at what I've just said about those three guys, have Arsenal done well? What do you think?